With Lost Colony coming out soon, and so many awesome Ark mods and mod maps too, you might be thinking about getting a server to play on with your family or friends, or even by yourself. I've helped a lot of people set up their servers, especially people new to running an Ark server, and one question I get all the time is, do I need to rent additional servers if I want to play on more than one map? Because that could get really expensive. Or if you already have a rented server, you may be wanting to check out Lost Colony, but you don't want to pay more to rent another server or risk losing your progress on your current map. Well, you'll be glad to know the answer is no. You actually don't need to rent another server for this. You can play on multiple maps on one server. It's a little complicated to figure out at first though. So I'm here to walk you through it and make it easy for you. I'll also do my best to help you avoid a mistake that I made that cost me hours of wasted time. I'll start by sharing some simple animations to give you the gist of what we're doing, and then I'll quickly walk you through it in-game with all the fluff cut out just to show you exactly what it looks like in-game and in the Nitrado UI so that you will know exactly how to do this. I'll also answer a question I've been asked several times, which is how do you upload or transfer water creatures between maps? I'll show you some unique issues around transfers between maps to and from Aberration. Since we don't know what Lost Colony has in store, it's good to have a few alternate methods of transferring up your sleeve in case regular obelisks are hard to reach. So I'll use Aberration to illustrate these. I'll also share a cheat command that you can use if you want to bring a juvenile creature with you. Normally it's not possible to transfer babies, but in case you don't have time to raise it fully before you need to switch the map, I got you. Hello my fine feathered friends, this is Songbird, and thanks so much to Nitrado for partnering with us, and let's get right into how to play on all the maps with only one server. So I'm here on the island at the red obelisk, and you'll see I've got a bunch of creatures all lined up here. They are getting ready to be transported. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to upload all of these creatures into the obelisk, essentially. And then I'm going to upload some gear, and then I'm going to upload my character. So I've made a video before on how to do this in detail. So this time I'm not going to give as much detail. I'm just going to kind of run through it really quick, just the basics. Now you'll notice there is a countdown timer here. That's because I screwed up and made an oopsie here when I was recording. If I've been paying attention, the fact that there's a timer, as well as that the text at the bottom center of the screen says travel to another server, should have clued me in that CrossArk transfer was enabled. This won't work if that's the case. I wasted a ton of time uploading everything, and then I had to download it again, fix the issue, and then do it all over again. I want to save you that time and headache, so let me help you prevent making that mistake. To help explain, I made a rough little animation. So what you're doing is that you take your stuff to an obelisk in-game, and then your character will upload the dinos and the gear that you want to take with you onto the new map, and then upload your character as well, and then you're going to switch the map to a different map. This character will actually, you can spawn in using that same character, and then that character can go to the obelisk on the new map and download the same creatures and items and play with them on the new map. Or since you're on a server, you can also go to a loot drop and do this, but it's just safer to go to an obelisk. I'll go into more depth in a minute, but that's the very simple version. That's what it looks like in game. So I kind of ran out of time to finish this second animation. I hope you will forgive me. It still gets the point across, but it's just a quick little screen capture from Canva. So yeah, please forgive me for that. I'm going to also show you what you're actually doing behind the scenes in real life, is that the creatures, the items, and the characters all exist, of course, as data that is in folders. So in real life, because you're playing on a server, right? And the server is handling the saving of all of the information and all of the data. So these character files, these items, these creatures are all living on that server. That's where they're being saved. When you upload something at an obelisk, the way I'm about to show you, and your server is not clustered, your server is open for transfers out, but it is not clustered with anything, then what you're actually doing is you're taking those creatures, those items, and those characters and moving them to your local save that lives on your own machine. And that's why it is that you can also download those things into your single player game if you want to. I made a separate video on that. I'll link it in the description. And this is true whether you're playing on a PC or on a console. You're moving them into your local save files. And then you switch the map on the server, and then you transfer them back again. First the character, and then you can transfer creatures and items. But the server cannot be clustered. Now, a cluster is essentially a closed loop. You can play on the cluster. You can't actually transfer anything out of that cluster. And that's true whether you have multiple servers clustered together, or even if you don't, even if you just have the one server, but if CrossArk transfers is checked in the server settings, the technical side of the game thinks that the server is clustered. And so it won't let you transfer anything out of that closed loop. So you need to make sure that CrossArk transfers is disabled, but that transferring creatures, dinos, and items off the map is enabled, so that then you can transfer those to single player, switch the map, and then transfer them back. There, now you see, instead of travel to another Ark, now you have the option upload survivor. That's what you need to have. Okay, now to redo all of this stuff, don't make the same mistake I did. Check first to make sure that the upload survivor button is in the middle of the UI. If you're thinking about getting your own server, you are in the right place, thanks to this video's sponsor, Nitrado. If you want to be able to set up your server with the settings you want, the mods you want, and be able to swap maps whenever you feel like it, then renting your own server is definitely the way to go, especially since you can have separate saves for all the Ark maps and switch between them at will with just one server. And that's not even all. You can actually have up to 5 different games installed on the server at the same time, and then you can just switch between different games and it'll keep the saves of the other games. If you want to take a break from Ark for a while, if it's crashing on you a lot, your server doesn't have to sit there not being used. You can switch and play some 7 Days to Die for a while, or some Dune, or some Minecraft, or whatever it is that you would like to host on your server. They have over 100 different games available. Nitrado makes it easy to manage your own server. I have several videos on this channel that will help you get your server set up, that walk you through it step by step and make it simple. I also have videos on mods that you might want to use. On my Discord, I have a whole area just for server owners to ask and answer questions about servers, mods, and settings. And I also make my own server INI settings that I use on my community servers available for anyone to copy and paste and use on your server to save you hours of time getting up and running. These include all the most popular basic settings like structure pickup, boosted harvesting, boosted taming, baby raising, breeding. All of that kind of stuff is included in there, along with some stacking INI that makes it so that prime meat and honey, stuff like that, stack higher without needing a stack mod. All I ask is that if you do rent a server, please use my link in the description and pinned comment, and or the QR on the screen now if you're watching on a TV. Using my link doesn't cost you any extra, but they give me a tiny piece of that, and so it does help support the channel, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. And thanks to Nitrado for partnering with us. Okay, now you'll see that I have some creatures that were already uploaded here. See, the limit is gone, and also the timer is gone. When you open up this, by default, it will be on the tribute tab. Now, this is where you would put your tributes if you're going to start a boss fight. Or you can also use it for safe storage. I was getting over encumbered, so I threw a bunch of stuff in here, and that's the tribute tab. But you also have two other tabs here, creatures and inventory. So for more details on actually uploading, check out my other videos on that. But the TLDR version is that you upload dinos in the dinos folder, and just adult dinos. Their saddles and cosmetics will not upload, and babies will not upload. You can upload the saddles and other items such as your weapons, armor, structures, resources, artifacts, and empty cryopods into the items folder. Do not upload dinos in cryopods, either modded or vanilla cryos. Very bad things will happen. Check out the other video for details, but in brief, just don't. Upload your dinos using the dinos tab instead. Raise up your babies or leave them behind, or use the hack I show at the end of the video. Fertilized eggs are also not safe to transfer. They will be reset to a level 1 of that creature if you try to hatch them after transferring them. Eggs for kibble are fine though. For water dinos, hang on a sec and I'll go over how to upload those. There are a few things you cannot upload. Trophies and tributes, element and element shards cannot be transferred without using mods. If you're interested, say so in the comments and I can make a video on what mods I use for that. You can transfer element dust. But if you can't upload creatures in cryopods, how are you supposed to upload water creatures? Well, there's a few different ways of doing it. One way is if you haven't done boss fights and you don't want to spawn anything in and use creative mode, then you'll have to look for a deep sea loot crate, because on a server you can also upload things at a loot drop instead of just at an obelisk. I prefer to do it at an obelisk just because usually it's safer. But if you've got water critters, you can upload them at the deep sea loot crate. But if you've done beta dragon, beta or alpha dragon on the island, or beta or alpha Ragnarok arena, or any level of the Valguero boss, then you will have unlocked the tech transmitter. So you can place a tech transmitter under the water, and then you can use that to upload your water creatures. Or if it's your own server, of course you can spawn one in if you want. Or if you're using mods, Awesome Teleporter, and there's other mods that do this too, but Awesome Teleporter does give you the option. If you go into the inventory of the Awesome Teleporter, then you'll see that it also is a transmitter, and neither of these have to be powered in order to do that. But see, it gives me the same access to these folders. There we go. And under creatures, so now you'll see the Ichthyosaurus and Bassie are showing. So let's upload the Ichthy and grab its saddle. You can also take the saddles off first, of course, but I usually don't bother. Okay, and then I could pick these up, and then back up here on the platform I can go in here and I can upload my transmitter. I've got a whole bunch of dies, but I'm just going to leave those. They'll just drop in a bag when I upload my character. So let's do that. And how I do that is I just click Upload Survivor. And that will then bring you to this screen here, where you could, if you had multiple characters uploaded, you could choose a different character to download onto this same map. I don't know why, but this loading thing always says loading and it never finishes loading. But anyway, what you'll want to do in this situation is you're going to just hit cancel, and then you're going to hit escape and exit to the main menu. So you're just leaving your character and all that stuff uploaded. You're not downloading them just yet. And then we're gonna open up our Nitrado UI here. Let's stop the server again. And now we're on the general settings page here. And we're gonna switch the map. I'm gonna change the name of the map as well to testing server. All right, now we're gonna switch the map to, let's say we finished the island and now we're wanting to head on to the next story map, which would be Scorched Earth. So we're going to keep all the same settings. So save that. And then we're mods list. I'm going to keep all the same mods as well. So double check that those are the same. Yep. Save changes. And then start server. All right, let's load in to Scorched Earth here. All right, now here we are on this screen. If we wanted to make a new character, we could just hit escape, but we're going to download this character. Then we'll have to spawn in all over again. We will have nothing on us, so we will be spawning in naked and afraid. But unlike typical, we will at least not be level 1. And that's Scorched Earth for you. All right, well, if we had just spawned in a regular survival mode, then it would be up to us to survive and make a run for the obelisk or for a loot drop in order to download our stuff. Sometimes on some maps, it can be pretty dangerous getting around, like on Scorched Earth. So I might even wait a while and like make a set of starter gear, maybe try to tame some kind of travel creature, at least a parasaur or something, then set out for the obelisk. The ground is so rough on this map that even trying to get to a loot drop can be difficult. But let me just show you real quick how you can also access to download things through a loot drop. Once you get rid of the snakes, that is. Open the loot drop. You don't take the things out of it just yet. But if you click over here you've got your creatures and your inventory. So I'm not going to take the time to take everything out, but let's just take out one of these thylas as a travel critter. And yes, it can be kind of a challenge. They do get kind of stuck on me. Put your saddle on you. All right, and then we can pick up the stuff in the loot drop. I could have grabbed some more gear out of there if I wanted, but now I'm just going to go to an obelisk and download the rest there. Say that our adventures here on Scorched Earth were done and we were wanting to move on to another map. We've got a few new creatures with us that we tamed while we were here. The fact that this is so complicated to do, this is the main reason why I usually recommend that if you want to swap maps frequently, that you'll want to have a cluster. Because yeah, you don't want to have to go through all of this all the time. If you want to just be able to freely hop around between maps, then having more than one server is the way to go. But if you just want to, for example, finish one map and then move on to another map and finish that map, this works great. Okay, and then we'll upload the survivor, and here we are again. Once again, cancel, escape, back to main menu, and then we're going to open up our server UI again, and we're going to stop the server. There we go. Okay, server is stopped. Now let's go and change the map again. Now let's switch it to Aberration, which has some unique challenges that I wanted to show you as well. Same server, new map. Now here we are in Aberration. Now, Aberration is kind of a unique challenge because, of course, you know, like before, I'm the level 69 character that I was, but I am spawning in naked and afraid and with nothing on me. And with Aberration, it's a lot more difficult to get to an obelisk because all the obelisks are on the surface and you can't even really get to the surface until late game, or at least late mid game. So just for the sake of the video here, I'm going to speed things up a bit. I'm going to get into creative mode, and then I am going to speed down here because, of course, without being able to get to an obelisk, I can't even get out my transmitter to be able to download stuff somewhere else. But what you can get to, although it's also dangerous, of course, getting to a loot drop is no easy thing in Aberration. So you're definitely going to want to start your gameplay, make your starter gear, start leveling up, start taming things. These safer loot drops are up high, but then of course they're harder to reach because they're up high. But let's see if we can find one. Now, I wish these things worked as terminals. Oh wait, they do now. Okay, they didn't used to in ASE. Sweet. Okay, so now these charge terminals, these charge nodes also work as a terminal. Let me show you what I was going to show you. Okay. So Aberration has some unique restrictions on the types of creatures that can be downloaded onto the map because it's meant to be a unique challenge. There's some creatures from other maps that just do not spawn here at all. And so with default settings, you also cannot bring those creatures to Aberration. So you'll see a bunch of the creatures in here are grayed out. It won't even let me try to download those into here. All of these creatures cannot be transferred. These ones can. Basically creatures that have an an aberrant variety. And if it's not an aberrant iguanodon or raptor, you can download that creature on the map. Let's see, we do not have a whole lot of options for creatures that can go on this map. We can download the level 180 raptor, and let's also download the good dimorph. All right, I've got just those two. Then I'm gonna grab my armor pocket transmitter. All right, then we would be all set to run around on Aberration for a while and adventure over here. Well, hello there. All right, and now we're done with our adventures on Aberration, and we're ready to head back home to the island. Got all of our new critters here that we want to bring with us. So let's upload those guys. And let's upload the saddles as well. And let's bring some red gems with us in case we need to craft anything with those. I would probably also bring a bunch of other unique resources that I can't get on the island in case I need to craft a cliff platform or something. I'd bring some fungal wood and blue gems. If you do have some baby creatures that you don't have time to raise and you desperately want to bring them with you, and it is your server and therefore you have access to admin commands, then there is a command that you can use. Let me show you what that is cheat space set baby age and then 1. 1 is adult. So less than that would be a baby, like 0.5 would be half grown. See, there you go, all grown up. All right, and then let's throw my armor in there. I've transferred empty cryos like this a lot of times before, even though they do die like that, just because cryos are expensive to make. And so I just as soon transfer those and a cryo fridge and then just charge them up again on the other side rather than having to craft them all over again. But all right, now let's upload and escape and then bring up server again, stop the server. All right, now we'll just switch it back to the island. And the reason why this works is because of the way Ark saves the game is each map creates its own save file. They don't overwrite each other. So when I switch it back to the island, it should be the same island save file, not a new island map, because it saves them separately in the game folder. All right, did it save? Yes. All right, start it up again. And here we are. And you see it is the same island save as the one that I left in the first place. And can I access that place? Oh, that's right. It doesn't remember that I'm in this tribe still. But there's an admin command I can use. Force join tribe. There we go. Now I'm back in the tribe again. All right. Here's the stuff that I left behind. There's all the critters. So now if I want to take my rock drake for a spin around the island, I wish there was a transfer all for this, but it doesn't work like that. And there we are, back on our same island save and ready for adventure with our wonderful rock drake. If that was helpful, then please leave a gem emoji in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you would probably also enjoy this video. This was the original video on how to transfer between servers, or you might enjoy this one. Well, that's about it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.